All right, it's Thursday, June 25th. We've got 5 games on the first 5 board to walk through here today, including the Yankees and the Red Sox getting to renew whatever that thing is in Boston. And then, of course, the Phillies back in Washington for a rare game 4 of that series, trying to follow up on last night's 1-run win. And you've got the A's and the Giants out west in San Francisco, the Diamondbacks in St. Louis after hanging a 9 spot on the Cards last night. And, of course, the Cubs heading into Citi Field after sweeping the Mets in a doubleheader at Citi Field. Boy, that was embarrassing, Mets, huh? Hey, it's Joe Raineri, WagerTalk.com. Let's dive in here. Game 1, Yankees taking on the Boston Red Sox. Now, the Red Sox have Connolly early on the mound tonight. 3.64 ERA, and on paper, looks fine. Until you, of course, find out who's on the other side, and that would be the Yankees, who are sending Cam Schlittler and his 1.71 ERA into Fenway Park. And right now, the market, well, they opened it up at around minus 170, 171 in the first 5. But we are seeing some movement. But let's talk about Schlittler here, because he's the reason this game looks the way it does. 1.71 ERA isn't even the wild part, because the underlying numbers say he's pitched right around that level all season long. He's missing bats at a high rate. He's barely walking anyone. Last time out, what did he do? Strike out 13 against the Reds without giving up a walk. This is a guy that is the favorite to win the Cy Young in the American League for a reason. Now, early on the Boston side, that 3.64 ERA looks decent on paper, but the underlying metrics have him pitching a little bit worse than that. He did have a good outing against Seattle last week, but Seattle's lineup is struggling, and the ERA is kind of hanging because of starts like that against soft lineups. Now, the underlying metrics say he's more like a low to mid 4 ERA arm, and the Yankees over the last couple of weeks have been doing real damage against lefties. Top 10 in the league there. They just beat Skubal in Detroit last night. Goldschmidt crushing it, Volpe, Dominguez, they're all swinging it well, and the lineup is now getting to face a guy who's, let's be honest here, a little smoke and mirrors all season long with Connolly early. Now, the other side, the Red Sox lineup against righties over the last couple of weeks, not been great, guys. One of the worst in the league, in fact. Bottom 5 territory. They just put up 4 runs a game last week. That's what they were averaging. And now, listen, that was in Seattle, which is a pitcher's ballpark, but that was also in Coors Field. And now they walk in, taking on Schlittler at Fenway. This is a different animal altogether. The problem is the market is fading the Yankees in the first 5. They opened up at a minus 170, 171 favorite. They're now sitting around minus 143 here. Now, that's a gift from the baseball gods, and I got no problem taking it, because the Red Sox are returning from a 6-game West Coast road trip that included 3 in Seattle, oh yeah, and 3 in Coors, in altitude. That included a doubleheader and an epic meltdown yesterday late in the game versus the Rockies, which they lost. Then they had to hop on a plane. They got to leave the altitude now and play their rival without a day's rest in between. This is a terrible situational spot for the Red Sox. And by the way, did I mention that they have to face the best pitcher in the American League? Yankees in the first 5 at a reduced price for me. Not overthinking it at all. All right, let's talk about game number 2 here, because this is very similar. The Phillies and the Nats are running it back in D.C. tonight. And the question for me is, why has the market moved again against Sanchez and the Phillies, just like Schlittler and the Yankees? This first 5 market opened with the Phillies at around almost a 185, 190 favorite. Now, minus 160. Because Christopher Sanchez is what he is. He's a 1.80 ERA, and yeah, That's the best ERA on the board here tonight in the National League. But the underlying numbers say he's not quite that good. Still good, but not quite that good. They have a little more like a upper 2 ERA arm. Still excellent, though. But there's a gap between the ERA on the card and the pitcher that he is this season. Now, Cade Cavalli on the national side, he's sitting at around 4.07. He didn't have it last time out. Let's be reasonable. He got 2 2/3 innings against Tampa. He walked 3, gave up 2 earned. The underlying numbers say he's been right around that 4.5 ERA range all year. So it is what it is, right? He's been also workload managed recently there. I think they pulled him on just 68 pitches last time. He's barely going 5 innings at all over the last month. So keep an eye on that moving forward. He's been better at home than he's been on the road. That is for sure. Now, both lineups have been crushing the hand that they're facing tonight, meaning Philly over the last couple of weeks against righties, top 3 in the league. Schwarber, Harper, they're all putting up numbers over the last couple of weeks. They put 5 on the board last night against Washington. They did win by 1 with that late 9th inning 2-run home run. And Washington, by the way, against lefties over the last couple of weeks, also top 3 in the league. C.J. Abrams has been crushing it lately, and so is this lineup over the last week. They have been good for averaging, over 4 a game. And in fact, they just won a first 5 play that we told you to play a couple of nights ago against this same setup. Luzardo, the lefty, going for the Phillies, and nobody wanted to give Washington any credit. We told you, back them in the first 5. They're crushing lefties. Well, they did. And now we've got the same situation. We've got 2 lineups doing damage against the exact pitching splits that they're seeing tonight. Only the market has made backing Sanchez cheaper than the Open did. To me, that's a bit of a red flag here, given that this is the 4th game of a series, and you've got, obviously, Sanchez an ace on the mound, but again, left-handed pitcher against a team that is crushing lefties at home. I don't get it, but okay, it's a red flag for me. I'm going to turn to the first 5 total, which sits at 4 right now, because that's where I would rather be. Both bats are alive. Sanchez's ERA makes him look a little bit better than he is. Cavalli isn't clean, but he's not terrible here. And Washington can score against this lefty. So I'll take the first 5 over here. Now, we got a couple of more games to get to, and before we do, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, become part of the WagerTalk TV family. We appreciate, of course, you taking the time to hang out here and watch all the great content that we have available for you. It's all about making smarter sports investing decisions, and we're doing our best here to provide that kind of content for you. Now, game number 3. Let's talk about the Athletics taking on the Giants. The Athletics walked into San Francisco after not a great week, but they thought maybe with a day rest on Monday that they'd have an opportunity to go to Oracle and handle business against this Giants team. Well, no, they lost again last night, 2-1. They're on the verge of being swept by their crosstown rivals here, and yet the market still has them at plus money in the first 5, plus 117 I'm seeing, and that's interesting because San Francisco is sending Landon Roop to the mound. 4.15 ERA looks about average, but that ERA is actually selling him a little bit short because the underlying metrics are telling us that he's pitched a lot better than that, more like a guy in the low 3 ERAs than anything else. Now, last time out, his bullpen coughed up the lead he handed them with 2 earned through 6. So the box score a little uglier than he actually pitched. And on the Athletic side, it's Jeffrey Springs, 5.55 ERA. Keeping in mind, these guys play in Sacramento. And he got rocked last time, by the way. 6 earned in 3 2/3 against the Angels. The underlying numbers, Well, they're saying he's been better than this 5.55, but still doesn't feel like a guy that you can trust right now. That ERA is the worst thing on his card right now, but the rest of it, not altogether clean either. So some issues there right now at this point in the season for Springs. But this is where the side gets interesting because the Athletics over the last couple of weeks have been crushing right-handed pitching, top 10 in the league. Soderstrom, Muncy have been crushing it. The recent record looks ugly, and I get it. But the split versus righties looks really good. Don't fade them just because they haven't hit yet at Oracle in this series. San Francisco over the last couple of weeks against lefties, by the way, second worst in the league. And the box scores show what, 2.5 runs a game over the last week? Jung-Ho Lee has been handling his business. Schmidt's been swinging it well, but as a team against lefties, they just haven't gotten done much of anything lately. And now here comes Springs looking to bounce back in a pitcher's ballpark. Roop is the better arm, no question. But again, the Athletics, they hit righties. And the Giants, they can't hit lefties, even mediocre ones. Oakland lost 2-1 last night. They lost another close one the night prior. I'm not pretending the Athletics, rather, are in great form. They're not. But the A's at plus money in the first 5 is much rather where I would be. I think that is the value in this spot backing the Athletics. All right, game number 4 here. Let's talk about the Arizona Diamondbacks and the St. Louis Cardinals. And what a series this has been. Zach Gallen going tonight with his 6.10 ERA. Yeah, the market's got Arizona at about plus 120 in the first 5, which feels a little light for a guy carrying a 6 ERA. Unless, of course, the guy on the other side is also a hot mess. And he is. Michael McGreevy for the Cards. ERA sitting at around 3.35, which looks good. But that number is lying to you in a big way because the underlying metrics say he's a pitcher that is much closer to the high 5s in ERA than anything else. So that 3.35, yeah, that's making him look a lot better than he is. He doesn't miss bats. He doesn't put guys away. And he's been living off of soft contact luck. And that is the reality here. Now, Gallen just got smoked his last time out. 9 earned runs in 4 innings against Minnesota. His underlying metrics say he's not quite a 6 ERA guy, but he's not that far off either. He's been bad all year. Doesn't strike anybody out anymore. Can't miss any bats. It's not been good. Location is a mess. The line on the card, I think, is a little overstated by inherited runners that his bullpen can't actually handle. But either which way you cut it, it has not been good for Zach Gallen this year. And the Cardinals lineup over the last couple of weeks against righties, top 5 in the league. They scored over the last, 7 days, are averaging about 5 a game. And now they get Zach Gallen here, who, wow, he gets lit up a lot. And Arizona over the last couple of weeks finally starting to put it together. You saw that over these last couple of games. They have not been great against righties. They've been bottom 5. But again, this is a much better hitting team than they showed over the last 2 to 3 weeks. I think last night, finally starting to put it together. They hung 9 on the Cardinals last night. And I think this is an opportunity for them here tonight. We got 2 weak arms, and we've got lineups here that can really take advantage of both. The first 5 totals sitting at around 5. I think that could be in play. But for me, I think the Cardinals team total over against this version of Zach Gallen is likely the best way to go in the game. All right, we got one more game we're going to talk about. And of course, it's the horrific New York Mets taking on the Chicago Cubs. Before we break this one down for you, I do want to let you know I do have a 4% top play, rare 4% top play on my page over at WagerTalk.com. Listen, 162 games with 30 teams. I don't play a lot of 4 and 5% plays in Major League Baseball because It is a grind. It is not about the short term. It is about the long term. And a lot of games are 2 and 3% for me. And tonight, I've got a rare 4% play because the edge is that big. And I love it. You can grab that over at my page at wagertalk.com. Use that shortcut code, WT.buzz/JR. That's WT.buzz/JR. Take advantage, guys. Hop on over and take advantage of one of the great all-access packages that we have. So this way, you never got to miss a best bet here in any sport. All right, let's talk about it. The Cubs, who just swept a doubleheader yesterday from the Mets at Citi Field. That's 3 straight against the Mets now. They just hung 10 on them last night. And the first 5 market is sitting even. Cubs minus 110, Mets minus 110. Now, the Mets have Freddie Peralta going, 4.83 ERA. That's not exactly correct. I think it's overstated by his last outing, by the way, where he got, 10 runs charged to him in 2 2/3 against the Phillies. It was not good, but again, the bullpen didn't help him out. Inherited runners did a lot of that damage. So not all his fault. It just wasn't good. The underlying numbers, though, say he's more like a mid to high 3 ERA arm. He's better than what the numbers are telling you. Now, this is where I have to slow it down here, and you're going, well, if the Cubs are that hot and they've dominated the Mets, well, why is it even in the first 5? Well, the Cubs are sending Matthew Boyd to the mound, and he hasn't made a major league start since May 3rd. That's more than 7 weeks. He's coming back from a left meniscus injury, and that 6 ERA on the card that he's got right now is built on only his first 5 starts of the season before he went on the IL. And the underlying numbers, well, those outings, they weren't good. They weren't good at all. So now he's pitching for the first time in almost 2 months. So the pricing, even as bad as the Mets have been, is even. But the situation isn't, because the Cubs lineup over the last couple of weeks against righties, top 6 in the league. They've been smashing it. Just over 10 runs a game. Over the last week, Swanson, Crow Armstrong, listen, they're all doing damage, and it's about time. But the Mets, the Mets have had a big part in doing that. Errors, unforced plays. The Mets have shot themselves in the foot more so than I think the Cubs have actually dominated them. And the Mets lineup, by the way, over the last couple of weeks against lefties, they're top 5 in the league. Their success against lefties tells me they can hit a guy like Boyd who hasn't pitched in 2 months. But their recent record is ugly. No wins in their last 5. But to me, I think that's exactly why you've got to go and look at the Mets in the first 5, because both lineups can hit the pitching that they're going to be seeing tonight. Peralta's better than his numbers say. Boyd's return is a huge question mark, and then the bullpen's got to get involved. But Peralta has a great record versus these Cubs hitters because he was on the Brewers prior to being on the Mets. Don't forget, they were division rivals. So I think you're going to see a big bounce back from him in this spot. I think the Mets are desperate to not get swept at home. And I think Boyd is a pitcher they are going to have some success against here tonight. So for me, it's the Mets at home on the money line in the first 5. And there you got it, guys. 5 games, 5 first 5 plays here. Don't forget, drop in the comment section below what's your favorite first 5 play on the card here today. You guys big fans of taking bullpens out of the equation? Drop me a comment below. Tell me what games and what teams you're focusing on when it comes to the first 5. And again, hit that subscribe and like button. Certainly appreciate you guys taking the time to hang with us here each and every day, daily. We've got this first 5 video for you, giving you a different way to look at the starting pitching matchups and avoid a lot of the variance that happens once the bullpens get involved. So hope you enjoy it. Hope you guys hit those tickets here tonight. Cash those tickets because there are some big edges. And don't forget that 4% top play of mine, very rare. It is available at my page at wagertalk.com. Appreciate it as always. Best of luck with the plays, guys. We'll see you again tomorrow for the Friday edition of First Five.